You need to retrain your brain, learn how to see, and change your perception of the objects around you. Hey, it's Brandon here from Artismia. Due to the high volume of requests for drawing tips and tutorials, I've decided it has begun. Today's video is an introduction to some very simple basics that I believe will help to improve your drawing skills. Okay, here we go. Now the tips and concepts I'm sharing in this video are intended for those who would like to improve their drawing skills while drawing objects from observation. Remember, anytime you practice drawing, you are improving your drawing skills. For most people, and probably even for yourself, when you first look at something, you immediately identify what that object is. When you look at an apple, a tree, a light bulb, a shoe, you immediately identify that object and describe it with a specific vocabulary word. Okay, now let's do a little exercise. When I say the word house, what comes to mind? How about if I say the word bird, or the word sun, or the word man? What comes to mind? Now for some people, you probably visualize the object. For others, they might visualize the word itself. But sadly, all you're really doing is visualizing a symbol like this. And as far as I'm concerned, the visualization of a symbol or the word can actually interfere with or make your ability to draw that object much more difficult. Now, by the time you're done watching this video, I want you to stop doing that. I want you to stop identifying objects for the specific vocabulary word that they are. I don't want you to identify apples as apples, or shoes as shoes, or a chair as a chair, or a spoon as a spoon, because a spoon is not a spoon. So what do you need to do? You need to retrain yourself to start seeing things without using words. A really great way of doing that is to limit your vocabulary and force yourself to simplify the objects that you're looking at. Okay, so here's your first assignment. Using only 3 words, describe the objects around you, or the things that you would like to draw, as very simple shapes. Limit yourself to only 3 words: circles, squares, and triangles. Force yourself to only see the objects as either circles, squares, or triangles. Practice this anywhere that you are, any time of the day, and as often as you can. This will force your brain to see simple shapes. Even when you're out shopping, you should be looking for circles, squares, and triangles. These are not light bulbs. They're circles and triangles. Okay, so now one thing you can do to help yourself to see shapes better, or to see these simple shapes better, is to use a piece of glass like this. Now what I did was I used a piece of glass from a picture frame, and if you happen to have the picture frame, you definitely want to keep the picture frame, all right? If you don't have the picture frame, and you just have a piece of glass, I strongly recommend that you take some duct tape and protect yourself by taking the duct tape and wrapping it around the edges of the glass. Now what I also did with this one is I happen to have some extra cord hiding PVC tubing that I already had used for a different project for something else, and this was just scrap pieces, but I cut it so that I could make myself a nice protective edge so that when I'm using this, I don't cut myself on the glass. Additionally, for this exercise, you probably want to use some Sharpies, okay? You want to use a Sharpie, something that could be easily wiped off the glass, because the Sharpie actually will work really well for writing or drawing on glass that you can then clean it off later, okay? If you have some other kind of markers that will work like that. Just check them out, test them out first, and see that they'll erase. But the nice thing about a Sharpie is even after like 12 months of it, if it dries on the glass, you can just take a razor blade or something and scrape it off of the glass, and it cleans up pretty good. All right. Additionally, you will also probably need, you may want to use some kind of tabletop easel, like one of these, okay? Here I'll be using probably something similar to this one, or I have a wooden one that might work a little bit better. Now, if you don't have a table easel, you may want to just hold it with your opposite hand to keep it from moving, or use some books, a stack of books, or even some clamps like this that you can place upon it to help hold it in place so that it doesn't fall over. Now you're also going to want to find some sort of object that you have an interest in that you would like to potentially draw maybe either now or in the future. I got that old shoe that a lot of people call garbage rather than vintage, but the objective here is to be able to place that in front of you and look at it through the piece of glass. But before you start using your Sharpie, you need to find out which eye is your dominant eye. Find an object in the room, anything around you, and point at it with your finger. Close your left eye, and if your finger moves, right? If you close your left eye and your finger moves, then your dominant eye is your left eye. Whatever your finger is pointing at and doesn't bounce with is your dominant eye. So you got to figure out if that's your left eye or your right eye. For my case, my dominant eye is my right eye. So I'm going to close my left eye and keep it closed. I want to make sure the glass does not move. Okay, I want to make sure nothing moves, and I'm going to keep that eye closed, and I'm going to search now for specific shapes or simple shapes that make up the shoe and the clock that's sitting on the table there. All right? Now, I don't want to focus on all the little details. I just want to focus on the very simple shapes, okay? Squares, circles, or triangles. So when I look at that shoe, I'm going to force myself to see a triangle. So now if I take my Sharpie, keep my eye closed, I can actually start to trace that shape of that shoe. The first shape I see is a triangle. Okay, I see a triangle, I see another square, I see a half a circle here. This technique helps you to see, actually it's a way of training yourself to see contour lines. Now, contour lines are something I want to definitely get into later on, but right now I just want you to start forcing yourself to see simple shapes. All right, so I'm going to do it one more time here with a little teddy bear instead of these shoes and this clock. Oval. Oval. You know, another circle. Let's say a triangle. Oval. Circle. Now, a different technique that you may prefer that will help you to see simple shapes would be to use technology, whether it's an iPad, an iPhone, or some kind of tablet or device that allows you to take a photograph of the object and then utilize a drawing app which you then can trace over top of the photo that you've taken to help assist you in seeing more simple shapes. Now, this doesn't mean I support tracing, but if this technique helps you to see simple shapes more easily and assists you in your ability to draw, well, then I guess it's a good place to start. Okay, another exercise that I recommend doing or practicing is to take a pencil, some paper, and practice making those simple shapes. Just on the piece of paper, drawing with the pencil now, use your entire arm. Use your shoulder all the way down to the tip of the pencil. Don't just sit there and wriggle your wrist. Use your entire arm to practice making circles, squares, and triangles. Practice making these shapes. Use your entire arm though while you're doing this. Have them overlap. Use your arm and move around the paper. Alright guys, looks like that's it for this one. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I look forward to hearing from you. And remember, you can find me on most social media websites. Whichever one's your favorite, just find me there and let me know what you're working on. Thanks again for watching, keep practicing, and we'll see you next time.